So arguably one of the biggest games of 2022, especially if you're a Nintendo Switch owner, is finally just around the corner. We are almost at the finish line to the launch of this game, and that is of course Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Now 2022 has been kind of a down year for games, I feel. I mean, it was kind of boring a little bit. Look at your Game Awards nominees for the Game of the Year for 2022, and I mean, maybe, just maybe, we didn't have a lot of big titles that came out. Of course, recently God of War Ragnarok came out for PlayStation owners, and now Nintendo owners are getting in on the exclusive goodness with Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Now, what's weird about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet to me is the fact that there hasn't been a lot of drama online about this game. I remember with Sword and Shield, there was boycotts and people this, that, and the other. All these crazy online Twitter people who think Twitter is a real place when it's really not. They were all up in arms about this game, but of course the game came out and sold extremely well. Now Pokemon itself has been having a bit of a resurgence with games like Pokemon Legends Arceus, which came out earlier this year. It's crazy to think that game came out earlier this year, but I mean, it did. And I, for one, absolutely adored this game. Yes, it wasn't perfect. Yes, there were graphical issues, this, that, and the other, but the gameplay formula was so much better because it was just different. It was different. It felt fresh. It felt unique. It felt a lot more accessible and a lot more action orientated than we've gotten in Pokemon games before. The more open areas were a joy to explore, although, like I said, there were some graphical performance issues, but overall, this was a huge step in the right direction, and it looks like Scarlet and Violet will be sort of building upon that a bit with like the open world stuff. This is a completely open world game. 3 different story paths that you can encounter at any time and traverse through, and I think it's going to be a huge hit with Pokemon fans. I honestly think that Scarlet and Violet might actually end up being the best-selling Pokemon game of all time. There's a ton of hype building around this game, and it seems like this game is going to receive good reviews. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, why do we need to watch this video before buying the game? Are you going to sit here and, you know, crap on the graphics, crap on the performance of the game? And I'm not. You know, I'm almost at a point with Game Freak where it's like, I mean, it just kind of is what it is. I mean, these are the games that they make. This is the graphical style that they make. I mean, you could sit there and argue back and forth. Well, it should look like more of a modern game instead of a game from a forgotten era, this, that, and the other. To me personally, I don't think the game looks all that great from a visual standpoint. I do see some frame rate issues in the game, but I'm still going to buy the game. The game's still going to be fun, and I'm still going to enjoy the game. So then, what's the problem? Why are we watching this video in the first place? Well, there's a huge problem with this game that is kind of slipping under the radar that people need to be aware about, especially if they're buying this game for a particular reason. Now, like any Nintendo first-party game, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, of course, leaked early online. It was leaked like a week ago. It was almost 2 weeks until the launch of the game when this game ended up leaking. Major Pokemon YouTubers were taking selfies with their multiple copies of the game, the physical copy of the game. And of course, when that sort of stuff happens, like leaks end up getting out there. There's tons of leaks about the story of the game, this, that, the other, all the different Pokemon that are within the universe of this game. And it's a very vast, you know, terrain. And a vast amount of stuff. The stories are spoiled. Like, everything is pretty much spoiled within this game. And that happens with a lot of games, and that especially happens with first-party Nintendo games. But once again, that's not really the reason I made this video, because the warning, the reason you're watching this video is because when you have something that leaks online early, especially when it happens online and there's a strong multiplayer component and there's a sense of leveling up to where you have to do things in order to get your Pokemon to a certain level, and there's online battling within the game that of course can get into exploiting cheats and hacks for the game. Here's where the problem lies, because obviously the game does have a battle mode. There's a battle coliseum in the game where you can take your Pokemon and battle them against other people. But like I said, this game leaked early, and the hackers that have gotten access to this game have already completely hacked the game. They've already done things like have level 100 Pokemons, undefeatable Pokemons, and it is running rampant. So I won't show the actual website that is doing this, but I mean, everyone else is already talking about it, so whatever. But this is the information that's available on the website. They are adding in new cheats at an alarming rate and all sorts of stuff. How to do it, first time setup, this, that, the other. And to me, it's a slippery slope, because the person who's doing this, the person and the team of people who are creating this, on one hand can just be like, oh, well, you know, we're doing these cheats for our own benefit. You know, we're doing this to get everything that the game has to offer, this, that, or the other. You know, it's just for us to use on our own time. And like that's fine. You know, you could say that, and that might actually be the case. But the problem is, a lot of people who are accessing these cheats and accessing this stuff are not doing it for those sorts of reasons. There's Violet, Scarlet updates, how to use complex cheats and all this sort of stuff. And of course, Pokemon Scarlet has actually been updated, even though the game isn't out yet. There actually has been released an update patch for the game, and the codes and cheats still work. Now, what are the chances you're going to come across someone like this? I mean, it just depends. You know, it just depends. If they have a hacked Nintendo Switch, you could still access some online things with it, because of the way that, you know, the hacking scene has sort of emerged and sort of found ways to sort of counteract those measures. Basically, what ends up happening is, if you get caught like cheating or hacking in a game, it doesn't necessarily make it so that your Switch can't get online. It makes it so that your save file gets borked. So there is some sort of risk that is encompassing with this. Of course, doing something like this, you're breaking terms of service, this, that, or the other, but it's not like you're going to get arrested for it or anything. Maybe the head honcho, but I don't even think they'll necessarily care that much, because really, at the end of the day, it's not really super impacting Nintendo. It's just impacting the people who bought the game. It's impacting the people who bought the game simply to experience some Pokemon related goodness. And now that online battles have already been hacked, and people are going to have these shiny level 100 Pokemons off the jump of this game, what does that mean for the online of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Is it going to be overran with these people? Is there any real way for Nintendo to detect how they got that Pokemon to that level, how they got leveled up so high? Because, you know, will there be a way to sort of show that this is a hacked Pokemon versus this is a Pokemon that somebody caught and leveled up? I don't think that there's necessarily a way. I don't think that there's a way. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, because it's not going to hurt the sales of the game or anything like that. It's not going to hurt, you know, Nintendo's bottom line or Game Freak's bottom line or anyone's bottom line, the Pokemon Company. They're going to be, you know, sitting on a mountain of gold, eating a bag of potato chips, just hanging out. The problem is, it's going to be the consumer who ends up getting screwed with this situation. Is Nintendo going to be able to find a way to sort of thwart this so that it doesn't impact people playing the game online? I guess time will tell with it, but it's a shame. You know, it's a shame that the game isn't even out yet. Tons of people have been playing the game. Tons of people have been showing their physical copies that they bought from places. And then these same people are potentially using these hacks and cheats to, you know, further advance their reviews of the game, maybe get to a later part of the game or battle different Pokemon within the game so that they can, you know, make you an FAQ about the game or something. And then there's people who just want to ruin everyone's time when playing the game online and have these super overleveled Pokemons. Like, look, I know I say I love beating up on people online, but those are noobs. Okay, everyone has the same level playing field. I've just been playing the game for longer. That's completely different than using an exploit to essentially cheat the system so that you are overpowered and you are dominant, because these cheats are just going to get crazier and crazier. So I just wanted to bring this to your guys' attention, because it's something to think about, especially, you know, just keep it in the back of your mind when you're playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, especially the online stuff. Just be careful, be aware of these situations, and realize that they may end up getting, you know, more frequent than we initially thought, or hopefully it's just a small isolated incident. So let me know what you think of this whole situation in the comments section down below. Does this impact your wanting to get the game? Because, I mean, really it shouldn't. It's still going to be a super fun game, I'm sure. Just not very pretty. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share, hit that bell notification as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.